Hey, what's up fellas? Welcome to another M2 gameplay video at Long Live. This was about a month ago, the same day as my most previous M2 video uploaded about a month ago. So this video is actually about a month ago. I just haven't really had a chance to edit and make comments on this video until recently, but I still wanted to share it with you guys. Especially with this particular field. You'll find that this video is mainly on this particular field, which is field 1 at Long Live. I just wanted to showcase the new changes they made to the field. Before they made all these changes with the new bunkers, this was a field that rarely got to see some action. Most of the time it was pretty muddy actually, and very few bunkers, if any. They were pretty small, so it was really tough to play on, especially with a group larger than, you know, a 6-on-6. So with them putting these new bunkers on, it's becoming more and more used now. It's definitely a lot more fun to play with, so you know, it's definitely worth noting to come and play at this field if you happen to be playing at Long Live now. So this video actually has about 5 games in field 1 during the course of the day, some early in the morning and some more in the afternoon. So there's going to be 2 types of play. Early in the morning there weren't that many or as much experienced players playing with us compared to the afternoon. So I wanted to make a point to just one ball, take it a little bit easy and just work on accuracy and snapping earlier in the morning, and then in the afternoon, as you'll see a little bit later, we were able to shoot a little faster, communicate a little bit more, and things like that. Now, as far as the Die M2, I've gotten a few requests or comments about what my thoughts or my impressions, or if I was going to do an M2 review anytime soon. I still feel like I don't know the marker too well at this point. As I'm talking right now, I just checked the shot counter on the M2 and I've only just cleared 2 cases, so I haven't really been able to play with it too much or been out there and use it to actually, I guess, qualify my justified full-fledged review on it. But what I can do is talk about some of my preferences and initial impressions on the gun. Now, first, to start it off, the ergonomics. I do find it, like most people who have held any of the Die guns, the UL frame is very comfortable. The hourglass shape of the frame makes for a very comfortable and firm grip. Now, the rubber on the grips that they used also adds to the comfortability, I guess, or the tackiness of the gun. Now, the distance between the high pressure regulator to the grip is somewhat similar to the new Geo 3.5 as well as the CS1, so it kind of feels to be more stable compared to the older Eagles, let's say, with a more compact style. In my opinion, I like the compact style, but this wider stance is growing on me. Now, one thing that I did notice was the length of the high pressure regulator. For me, it doesn't feel long enough, whereas when I grip the foregrip, my pinky is somewhat off. All 4 fingers can't really fit no matter how I hold it, so my pinky's still slightly off, whereas compared to the 3.5 and the G-Tech, they're a little bit longer, and it just I can grip it a little bit better. Like I said, it's not really that important. It's still very comfortable to hold, and very easy to snap shoot with it, but that's just a minor thing that I noticed. Now, on the G-Tech, I just mentioned that it is longer. However, one thing I didn't like about the G-Tech was towards the bottom of the HPR, it's all rubber, and it's not really as solid. I mean, it feels solid, but you can definitely move it if you happen to get a hold of a G-Tech or happen to have a G-Tech yourself. If you just move the bottom, or you can move the bottom of the HPR because it's just rubber and just somewhat hanging. That was one thing I noticed about the G-Tech, but on this one, on the M2, it's all solid. Just a little bit shorter than I would like, but definitely not a deal breaker right there. Okay, so now onto the on and off ASA. I really like what Dye did with this new ASA. The lever seems to be very durable and really easy to turn. As far as my case, I use Ninja Pro V2 Reg, and as many of you know, some of the ASAs out there can be quite difficult to engage or to press the button, whatever the case might be, especially if you're using Planet Eclipse with the pops.
Good shot.
You've probably heard or have experienced it yourself that it's quite difficult. I shouldn't really say quite difficult, but it definitely takes some effort to push the pops to engage a tank, and that was actually one of my worries when I first got the M2, that it would be difficult to engage. I wasn't sure how the lever would hold up over time, but I quickly found out as soon as I got it and tested it out, it's pretty easy to just engage the ASA. So that's definitely a plus in my book. Now onto the screen. I don't know what else I can add to what people have already said about it. I mean, it's fantastic. I think Dye really went above and beyond with the screen. I mean, it not only is it huge and easy to see, but the colors are vibrant and very easy to manage. Just the fact that they also use icons for every single setting. It's basically to say to all the people that have used previous DMs before and have been repeatedly asking for a screen, it just seems like I was basically saying, you know what, you've asked for a screen for all these years, how about this one? And let's see what you're going to say about this. Yeah, so the icons in every setting is definitely a very nice touch. It doesn't really add anything to the performance of the gun, but definitely adds to the wow factor as you're changing settings, or you just like to show people what the marker is all about and what it can do. And I'm pretty sure you've also seen all the people uploading their own pics or getting very creative in their boot screen. So definitely nice little option that users can have with their M2. I also like the 5-way navigation joystick that they're using. Definitely very easy to navigate through the menus once you get familiar with all the settings that you can change or how to quickly get to whatever you need to do. You can basically just easily turn it on and hold it. Hopefully in the future, maybe just a nice double tap for a quick turning on of the marker. But overall, very easy to navigate through the menu. You can either go left, right, up, hold it down. Does take some time to get used to getting to the settings that you want, especially on the field. There was one time I needed to get to the dwell, and I didn't really spend as much time with the manual as I would like to say I did, or I just didn't familiarize myself with the menu as much. So it took some trial and error before the game, but even with that, it was pretty easy to eventually get to it and quickly change it before the game even started. But as far as durability, it doesn't seem flimsy at all. Over time, I would assume there would be some wear to it, but I think that would take lots and lots and lots of navigation or just click or maybe even abuse for it to eventually fail. But from what it feels like and what it seems, it's definitely well built and should last for a very long time. Now on to the trigger. Some people like it, some people hate it. Me, I can't really say that I hated it, but it just took some time to get used to, because I think there was just so many ways that you can adjust it, especially the angle of the trigger, so you're not just dealing with a scythe or a blade or a rake or anything like that. You can loosen it up and actually change the angle of the trigger. So I definitely, or it definitely took me a long time just to play with that type of adjustability to get to the way I like my trigger set up. And then after that, once I got the angle, played around with, you know, the the stop or the rear activating trigger, the tension, just to get to the way I like it for semi play. So I can't really say that I hated it. I think most people just needed to take some time. For me and the guns that I've had, I definitely take my time in trying to adjust the trigger the way I like it. Again, it's personal preference. Some people can just roll out with stock settings or just do minimal adjustment and can basically play with it the way it is and not be bothered by it. For me, I'm just a little finicky. I really like to set up my triggers the way I like it in terms of the tension, how light I like it, and the pull just for semi-play. So overall, I did need some extra time, a little bit more time than usual on this trigger. But now that I have it set up to the way I like it, I would say that it's a good trigger. In the future, who knows? Once they come out with aftermarket triggers, maybe critical or custom products, I wouldn't mind trying it out to see how they might have improved on it or just given it a different type of feel. But for now, the stock trigger is very good and can definitely or will stay on it for a very long time. It's not like the old MacDev muckers that as soon as I got it, because of the side-to-side play, it just wasn't as light or snappy. Many users, including myself, immediately looked for an aftermarket trigger right off the bat. But with this one, definitely a good trigger. Now, as far as the eye pipes, I have to be honest with you, I wasn't really a big fan of the eye pipes. When I had the DM7, it was okay. I never really had a problem with cracked eye pipes. I made sure that I didn't torque the barrel too much, but I didn't really see the need for it, or I just wasn't a big fan of it. So with this eye pipe, initially I just thought, okay, well, that's their design. Even though they did say that it was going to be more durable, it was going to be thicker than the previous DMs that for the people that had problems with the previous models and the eye pipes cracking, that this was not going to be a problem. I said, okay, that's great. But for me, that wasn't really a selling point in terms of the market. But now, as I get to play with it more, and especially with my most previous outing with the Drone 2, and I was playing with pretty fragile paint, I didn't really experience a lot of barrel breaks, but I did actually much less actually than other people. There were the other guys that experienced a lot more barrel breaks or breaks in the breech than I did. But even with the Drone 2, I experienced at least 2 during the day, and definitely made for a hassle in cleaning around the breech area. Now with this one, I can finally say that I would truly appreciate this design, that it would be easy to just take it out, rinse it with a water from the water bottle, and start shooting again. So I'm starting to realize the advantage of having this eye pipe in the die markers. Now, as far as the UL barrel backs, I like the fact that they decided to include 2 backs and 1 front, which is great. The UL barrels continue to be one of the widely used barrels out there. They keep their value. They're very popular. They definitely do a good job with the sound signature. I'm still debating on using the UL system. I did pick up a 16-inch tip, and I have to yet use it out on the field to see how it would compare to the other barrels that I am currently using. I still tend to prefer the Disruptive barrel as well as the Lucky 15, only because it does reduced the sound signature significantly, a little bit more than the UL, even though the UL is a bit lighter.
Watch the snake.
I have no problems with using the Lucky 15, so I still have to continue comparing it on the field and off the field, especially with the 16-inch. But definitely no complaints with the UL barrel. So overall, I really like the M2. I think that it is a pretty solid performer and should definitely make a lot of users, new and old alike. I think they're going to like a lot of the features that it has, a little bit different from the previous generations. And it's a very good gun. Now, one thing I wanted to end the video with was dye and its resale value. I had initially thought that with the introduction of the M2, with all its features, and dye announcing that they weren't going to continue the trend with releasing markers every year, that the resale value was going to change a little bit, that the value was going to hold a little bit better. But even now, with all that being said, people who are looking to sell their markers, whether it be a brand new one or slightly used, less than a case through it, that they're having a tough time even selling it at the $1,000 or $1,100 mark, that they would have to wait for the right offer to come, or people having to settle for $900 to be able to sell it. Who knows? Maybe time will tell that dye will hold its resale value when people realize how much of a quality gun or a reliable shooter this is going to be, that people will start to realize that they really do have a good value on the M2. Not knocking that many people can basically pick it up cheaply, but it's it's right now it's a buyer's market. Maybe it will change in the future.
Bounce on his arm.
But like always, thank you for watching. I appreciate any comments or advice that you can put in the channel. Thanks again, and see you out there on the field.